On today's episode of the Slappy Speaks podcast, we're going back in time, all the way back to September of last year. Join me, won't you? Welcome, everyone, to the Slappy Speaks podcast, the show that takes you behind the scenes of the Goosebumps movies, with me, Avery Jones, the performer, behind, beside, and occasionally beneath Slappy the dummy. It's fine. Happy New Year to you. I know it's the end of January now, but how late is too late to say Happy New Year? We don't have to find the answer today, but I'm curious. Good to see you, and thank you for coming back. We took a bit of a surprise absence there because things were just so busy at the end of the year. We were part of our 6th Nutcracker Ballet. We were part of It's a Wonderful Life radio show. So much going on. But I'm glad to see your smiling faces again. If you're not smiling, that's fine too. I'm just glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about something that happened at the end of last year. This is way overdue. I've been trying to get footage and put this show together for some time. And I think I've finally done it. If you're seeing this, I have. Congratulations to me. I want to talk about Cursed City Con in San Antonio, Texas, that happened in September of last year. You remember last year? Yeah, me too. The very exciting, very fun. I had the absolute time of my life, and I want to talk about it. I want to memorialize it here, and then I can mentally move on, and we can work toward other things. But before we do that, we have to have a serious conversation. And I don't want to be this guy, this killjoy guy, but I've been getting messages for the last 10, 11 years that I've been working on this little Goosebumps thing like this. And I've said it in other places. I want to say it here. Stop sending me your contact information. Stop sending me your phone numbers, your friends' phone numbers. I cannot and will not call you if I do not know who you are. Please be safe on the internet. I have gotten an influx of these kinds of messages of call and Slappy can say hello to my friend or leave me a voice. I can't do that. The internet is a big scary place. I don't know you. You don't really know me. So please be very careful online and don't send anyone your personal information. I feel like a very, not angry, but disappointed dad right now. But I wanted to address it before we got too far in today's fun, because it has become a problem. I love that you're a fan of Slappy. I'll always respond to comments when I have time. I'll always see what you send me, and if I'm able, I'll share it, reply back, whatever. But personal messages with personal information and photos of your Slappy collection are not always a wise choice. Post them on Instagram where everyone can see them, and tag me, and I know I'll see it there too, and we'll all have a good time safely together as a community. Alright, now that that is out of the way, let's have some fun and talk about Cursed City Con. The lineup for this con was a fan dream, right? We got folks from every corner of the Goosebumps world, but the headliner is Mr. R.L. Stine himself. Now, I've crossed paths with Mr. Stine on a few occasions, but never in a capacity like this. So I didn't know if I would be able to meet him, talk to him, maybe get an autograph. But if there was a chance I could get an autograph, I wanted to get something special signed. So I reached out to Isaiah from the Goosebumps Crew podcast to see if there was a chance he could pull a still from one of the Goosebumps bonus features on the Blu-ray of the fleeting moment where Slappy and Stine crossed paths for a piece we filmed for San Diego Comic-Con that ended up on this bonus feature, and he was able to pull that for me. So I didn't know, but I had this in my bag just in case. I think I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going to back all the way up to the beginning of the story with the start of our 16-hour drive to San Antonio. It is noon p.m. 12. We're 2 hours behind schedule and on our way to pretend that I'm important in San Antonio. It is 7 hours and 45 minutes until our halfway point in Lafayette, Louisiana. I'm not supposed to be giving out all of my information on the internet, am I?
Somebody's gonna get us.
Who cares? It's the information age. My social security number is 5.
No! Is it raining?
What? We missed the Louisiana sign. There was a bridge, and the view was too... I could drive. You should have seen it. The sign and the view. Yeah. Too bad for you.
Sorry.
It is 8:26. The road is terrible right now. We are still in Louisiana, driving to Texas, where I hear things are bigger. We have 5.5 hours to go. What else is new?
Texas is under construction.
We went to Hibbs.
Yeah.
Or HEB. I don't know if I'm saying it right.
We got lunch.
They're gonna kick me out of Texas for mispronouncing their grocery store.
The bathrooms are huge. Also, look, it's Texas.
That's how you know. It's so bright, Audrey. One thing Texas has: water towers.
Well, they ain't got water.
So when we arrived at our hotel in San Antonio, we got set up and then ran into the guys from the Goosebumps Crew podcast, who I've never met in person, so it was very strange to see them outside of a computer screen. Got to hang out with them for a while, and we went Goosebumps hunting out in the world until the late hours of the evening.
What do you say, Bjorn? Go do some Goosebumps thrifting?
We're gonna find some Goosebumps stuff, and but if I'm gonna find anything Slappy, I need help from somebody, okay? Somebody who knows Slappy inside and out.
Well,
I don't know what you're talking about.
We took Bjorn on the All-American Tour, Spirit Halloween, Barnes & Noble, and Five Below.
Looking for the elusive Franken-Slappy shirt.
I don't think it's here.
Yeah, they're just sitting in the back.
Like, we have a whole box of these Franken-Slappy shirts. If you want them, I'll be like, yeah, I'll take 2, 3. Avery will take 3.
We'll buy one for Stine.
We'll buy one for Stine. Wear it tomorrow at the event.
And then came day 1. We were up early, or at least early for me, because I keep the schedule of an owl, and headed downstairs to get started before the crowds descended upon us. Met our table neighbor, Morgan, who is very, very funny. If you don't follow her on social media, you should be. I hear her voice everywhere now that I know who I'm listening for. And then the floodgates open, and I saw a sea of Slappies coming towards me. Got to meet a lot of folks who I've only known through the internet, signed a lot of autographs, and took a lot of Slappy selfies, which is something new. Sold a lot of hand puppets. These new things that we're trying out for this con, these shrunken heads, who I think are a lot of fun. And Audrey had made all of these great Goosebumps friendship bracelets that turned out to be a very big hit. We had Slappy-themed ones, Gummy Bear-themed ones, and even some Goosebumps bracelets. So while I was at the table, I thought it would be great to have someone who could go out and mingle and see what else was going on at the show. So that is where our good friend and Goosebumps correspondent Bumpy the Goose came in. He went out and about and filed this report.
Hi everybody, it's me Bumpy the Goose here at Cursed City Con in San Diego, Texas. Home of the world's largest cowboy booths, the Alamode. That's it. Let's do it.
Really thought there'd be more to it than that. But okay.
Ask a dummy!
Now, admittedly, today's question is not actually a question, but I couldn't miss the opportunity to talk about Bumpy the Goose, who is a character that I've absolutely loved getting to play with, and getting to play with him first at Cursed City Con with the Goosebumps fan community was a very cool start for him. As I've been developing this Slappy Speaks podcast, I wanted some sort of outlet for a puppet. So I've developed this super fan of Goosebumps, and I love the thought, because I see it a lot online, of the super fan who doesn't know the basic lore of the thing. For a while he was going to be like a computer vlogger nerd guy, but I eventually landed on that he would be a literal goose. So I was trying to figure out how to make a goose puppet that looks like a goose and not a duck, and the internet was not very helpful. I attempted Instagram's AI feature the week it came out and came up with some questionable results. There were a couple of goose designs out there I did like, though, but I didn't have a deadline until I had this con booked, right? So I wasn't in any hurry. Eventually, it came to a point where I had to make something. I did Google image search for all the keywords: Muppet, puppet, goose, Muppet, puppet, and way down did I find the Party Animals. Now, the Party Animals were a line of toys in the 80s, I believe, designed by Bonnie Erickson, who is an incredible designer for the Muppets for many, many years. She designed mascots. You are familiar with her work, even if you aren't familiar with her. She designed these toy puppets that were very cool looking and very Muppet-esque without being Muppet if that makes sense. There's a handful of animals in the line, but I stumbled upon this goose, and I loved how stupid he looked. And it occurred to me that the thing that I had been missing is that ducks, puppets at least, have a little bit of a head above their eyeballs, and a goose shouldn't. And that's what makes them look so dumb, because there's not room enough for a brain in there. So I started building. I had this wonderful material. This is actual Antron Muppet fleece for those puppet building nerds out there who care about such things. And I had just enough to make his beak. He's got a pair of feet that will eventually show up in a video, but that's paid content. I'm gonna cut that out. Audrey put together his custom little t-shirt. I wanted him to be these purple and green colors, not only because it's the colors that most people associate with Goosebumps anyway, but it's kind of the retro Chuck E. Cheese colors, and I thought that 90s retro pop was good. I debated giving him a backwards ball cap, but again, that adds something up above his head, and it made him look a little too smart. I adore Bumpy, and I have adored the reaction to Bumpy, and he will be around for quite a while. If you have any questions about anything puppetry related, Goosebumps related, leave them in the comments of this video, and maybe you will see your question in an upcoming episode of the show. And now, on to whatever is next. Later in the day, there was a photo op for all of the folks from all corners of the Goosebumps world to come together and meet some more fans as a group. And this is where I got to cross paths with Mr. Stine. He came in, and I reintroduced myself to him, and was able to briefly for a moment thank him for Slappy, because he's been so good to me. And the most memorable moment of the entire con is when Mr. Stine said that people always ask him about Goosebumps 3, and it's not looking good. So if you've been waiting for an official word, I don't think it's going to get much more official than that. And then it was time for my panel. Yeah, they gave me my own panel. An hour of conversation about all things Slappy. And I wanted to share some pieces of it here. You can see more on the Goosebumps Crew Guys podcast episodes about this event. Special thanks to Cinedump for the footage and audio.
So, so we're here today with Mr. Avery Jones. He is a puppeteer, and of course he was a puppeteer on the Goosebumps movies as Slappy the Dummy himself, as well as a few other roles.
A few other things, yes.
Yeah, if you could, what were some of the other roles that you did on those movies?
The second film, I got to be a bunch of characters that got cut out of the movie. There were a bunch of background monsters and creatures. Great hag character with these big chiclet teeth that's in the Mr. Chu's neighborhood scene with the big balloon spiders coming down. And then in the Fred's Pharmacy, there's a blue troll character, these pointy ears. And then I did on-set voices for the pumpkins and there's a big pumpkin that talks to Sonny and Sam and Sarah at some point, and I did all voices and stuff for that. I did temporary voices for the mom dummy at some point. I got to do a lot of things on that one, but the candy bowl hand in the gummy bear scene is my other big claim to fame. That's the one I get stopped about on the street, if we're being honest.
Now, how did you get involved with working on the first Goosebumps movie?
That was a friend of a friend sent me a Facebook link that Extras casting company out of Atlanta was looking for extras and very specific performers for tall people or stilt walkers or puppeteers for some production. And I was one of 5 puppeteers that showed up for this movie. And they brought me back a couple of times. I was the youngest of the puppeteers that showed up. The other guys were professionals out of Atlanta, and I was freshly 20 years old. And I went in and auditioned with one of these dummies, like we see in our front row here today, and with a very different version of the script. I think we've talked about that. Some of the lines were a little more... he spoke in the third person. He only referred to himself as Slappy. And the first line was like, Slappy's so happy and he's free. It was something like that. It was not very threatening at all. And that was in, I want to say, February of 2014, and then by March we were going on the movie.
So, when it came to the design of Slappy, can you tell us a little bit about how that design, because it was going through constant evolutions in the beginning of the production?
Yes, by the time I was involved, it was already decided, so I wasn't involved in any of that. I've seen a lot of concept art since then of some very strange versions of Slappy. The goth teen Slappy that
emo Slappy.
Yes,
yeah.
Emo Slappy. They made it to practical renderings though. There are 3D out. It exists somewhere in the world. They made prototypes and they painted them and things. But by the time I got there, they decided that Slappy needed to look like Jack because of the R.L. Stine duality of the relationship with Slappy. And that's why Slappy can do the what I call the windshield wiper eyebrows. He can do individually move those eyebrows. A trick I don't think we ever even really used it in any of the movies, but it might have shown up in one of those junkets. But Slappy's eyebrows can do individual move because Jack does Jack's thing.
Now, besides today, did you get to meet R.L. Stine on the set of the movie?
So, yes, one of the days, no, if when you work on a movie, one of the adages of working on film is hurry up and wait. So you get there, and you get ready, and you sit, and they make sure all the important people do their work first, and then they wait.
until the very end of the night to start work on the puppet, because you're not going anywhere and you're not costing them any extra money. So I would get there and I would sit days and I wouldn't do things. And one of these days where I was sitting and doing nothing, we were at the high school on the first film, and it was one of those do nothing kind of days. And someone came to me and said, Avery, since you're doing nothing, you should go and film with Bob. And I had no idea who Bob was. Turns out Bob is Robert, who is RL, who is RL Stine. So I walk in and I am this close to him out of nowhere. And he just goes, hi, Bob Stine. And, and he looks at me and goes, are you a puppeteer? And I'm holding Slappy in my arms, so clearly, no, I just found this thing outside. And
It's
so
stuck
he,
on my hand.
it's stuck. I thought you would know how to get it off. And he told me about a show he wrote for Nickelodeon called Eureka's Castle. He talked about that and some of the Henson puppeteers he knew. And then we shot a piece for San Diego Comic-Con that a brief moment of it ended up in one of the bonus features on the first movie. But that was my introduction to Mr. Stine, and the only time that I interacted with him until today, when we were upstairs for our photo shoots. So we've met, and he's been very courteous and kind to me, and pretended he'd remembered me like a true gentleman.
You brought up Comic-Con, because that was like the first really big look at the Goosebumps movie, and you got to be there. How was it like being up on stage, especially with all those, the character actors as the monsters?
That was such a whirlwind. That was 2 days after we wrapped on the movie. So we filmed in Atlanta, and it was, I want to say, the end of July, and we wrapped on a Friday. On Saturday we flew to San Diego, and then on Sunday was the panel. So I didn't have time to be nervous and to process, really. I knew it was very cool that we were going to San Diego Comic-Con, but I didn't know exactly how big a deal it was, because I didn't know the Goosebumps world. And, we're in our own little bubble, and so I'm not seeing the online anything happening about the Goose. You guys didn't have a podcast yet, so I didn't know how excited you would be. So the excitement to me wasn't really there until Jack pulls Slappy out from underneath the table, and the entire room goes, and you could hear, you could feel this wave of people and their excitement, and they showed a bit of a very early trailer, which you found on the deep recesses of the internet sometime, which I hadn't seen until or since that time. It was wild watching all of the comments come in live when I got back to my room, and there's like 10 videos of it already up, and he was Slappy's face was on the cover of USA Today that morning, and it was just that it all happened right then. The big, how big it was, because I wasn't plugged into the community yet, so that was cool. And then I got to walk the San Diego Comic-Con floor with Jack. That was really cool. And I ended up on TMZ in the background of, we had a dinner, Jack and I and the director, Rob Letterman. And afterwards, there were people with cameras outside, and I was just coming out of the restaurant and going into the next building in my hotel. But for a brief moment, I am on TMZ going into the back. And not for anything scandalous or anything. My mother is so proud of me.
Wasn't Jack Black wearing like a stormtrooper?
Yes, he kept getting recognized. So he stopped and bought some ridiculously expensive stormtrooper helmet and wore that, and he was fine.
Did people eventually pick up on the fact that it was him, or
while we were in the restaurant, I think people were tweeting and things, because you could see it sitting next to him in the window or whatever, but yeah, that was and I think he did press the whole next day. He was like, I had to buy this so I could just walk around. But
you say was probably like the most difficult or challenging part of doing Slappy on either movie?
Oh gosh, the most difficult thing. Anytime we were in the car was really hard. Primarily because as a puppeteer, you use a monitor to see what the camera sees to make sure everything looks good, and you're kind of directing your own self there, so you can self-correct and whatnot. So when the car would move or the camera would move, the monitor would go out every time, no matter how much they fixed it or got a new monitor or whatever. That was always the problem, was being able to see what was going on in the car was always a problem. And the first shot I did in the movie is Slappy has all of the books piled up in the haunted car, and he says, "This one's a real page turner," and then he peels out of there. Or he throws a book out and then he peels out. And we did like 30, 40 takes of that one because I was laying across the seat with the Slappy puppet on my chest. I've got black blankets all over me because it's nighttime and I'm reflecting in every piece of glass that is in this car. And I'm watching a monitor in the floorboard, and there's people pushing the car in the back. And when the monitor's not working, and I can't turn Slappy's head and his eyes at the same rotation, and they're doing it over and over and over, and it's my first night. I've been there for a week and haven't shot anything yet, and it's my first night actually doing something, and I've done 32, 33, 34, and I can't get his eyes. And eventually I hear somebody say, "Can we just do it with CG?" And I went, "Give me one more!" And I'm essentially, what I'm doing is taking Slappy's head and I'm flinging it and catching it. And I get it once and they go, "That's pretty good." And I climbed out and now the sun is up and it's like daytime. And I got like a light applause and they're like, "Welcome to show business, Avery." And that was my most difficult day. Was my first day. Very fortunately for me, it was my first day, and it got easier from there.
There's an alternate opening, too, that had Slappy in the back of a moving truck.
Yes. And we filmed that. There's actually, I don't know if you guys know this, there we filmed, we had, the alternate opening was filmed in one day, and we had to film it twice, because the first night we were filming it, one of our camera cranes collapsed on our assistant director. And it messed up his shoulder. And they were like, "Georgia's cursed. We should never film in Georgia." And so we ate dinner in silence, and they sent us all home. And the two guys that were playing the movers had flown in for like 2 days just to do this, and they had to send them back and rework the entire schedule to bring these two guys back. And one of those guys is crazy famous now, Kumail Nanjiani, who is in everything.
I know he was in Ghostbusters.
He's one of the Eternals, yeah. So
he was in Ghostbusters.
He was so confused about what I do.
Wasn't he in the Star Wars show?
Yes, he was just on Obi-Wan.
Yeah, it was the Obi-Wan show.
Was he also SNL?
Playing the fake Jedi.
No, he wasn't SNL?
He was so confused. He was like, "So you just do puppets?" And I was like, "Yeah, I worked on Sesame Street, but you just do this." And I was like, "Yeah." Like, "So your full job?" "Yeah." "Are you trained?" I guess.
He was like really interesting.
I think he was worried about me.
You got to do the UNICEF ad too, though.
Oh, the UNICEF was right in the middle, yeah.
I remember seeing that, and I remember thinking, what does this mean?
Yeah.
Because that was a few years after the movie, so I thought, okay, they're still using Slappy for like promotions, so.
That whole thing was fun because it was supposed to be just voiceover over the footage that we'd filmed for we watched it on the show, I think, the Slappy reacts to the trailer video.
Yes.
It was supposed to just be voiceover because you can't see his face the whole time. They were gonna try to line it up, but they couldn't find the raw stuff. And so they were like, it's probably just easier to ship him to you. And so we worked it out with a TV studio near me, and they shipped him to my house, which is wild. And we did that in a day and a half. And yeah, he was everywhere for a hot minute. I never got my little orange box though from those.
Yeah, I remember after talking with Avery one of the times, I think it might have been the first time we talked to you, but I was like, "Did you get to keep Slappy?" I was like, "Can we see that?" He's like, "What?" he's like, "They're not gonna let me keep that." I was like, "Well, it only costs probably like a couple grand to make, right?" Nah.
How much?
$50,000
to make one Slappy.
One Slappy, and they had multiple on Goosebumps too. Didn't
Yeah,
they?
that was just the ventriloquist Slappy from the first movie. Was that we had a army on the second one. I've never found out how much those guys cost with the animatronics and things, but there's no reason it should have cost that much money. I don't know why.
It was almost a Slappy animatronic.
Yes, there was. Somebody found that recently. I don't remember. Was it you? Did you find it?
I forgot who found it. It wasn't me. I did post about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember somebody found it and it was like circulating over on Instagram. There's supposed to be like a Spirit Halloween Slappy animatronic and it got scrapped. Somebody just happened to find a picture of the prototype.
So that was the year of the second movie. So there was a week we were off of the filming the movie, and I did press stuff for when the movie came out during that. So I went in and did a day and did all of these like international the I'm always Slappy kind of like videos for international things. And one of them was the voiceover for the Spirit Halloween thing, and then we did an ad for social media for Spirit Halloween releasing this piece, and then there was like write-ups of like the eyes light up and the head spins around and things. I've got it somewhere. I'll have to find it. I've kept every piece of paper that I ever got in recording all of these things. So I've got boxes and boxes of things that I'm hoping to go through soon on my podcast. Can I talk about that on? Yes. There was an alternate ending to Goosebumps 2 that you guys don't know about. And that would actually be a very funny thing. So Slappy gets destroyed, right? He gets electrocuted and rockets off into the thing. And now it's Christmas time. And Mr. Chu's decorated all the yard next door, right? The original scripted ending of the movie is Sarah gets accepted into college and everybody's happy. And it's a wonderful, picturesque Christmas ending of a movie. You know, you got one of those happy songs. And the camera pans over to the mantle and there's a nutcracker. And the nutcracker turns his head and looks at the camera and goes, "Congratulations!" And that's the end of the movie. So, if we want to talk about number 3, Slappy is now a nutcracker. In some universe.
Well, that's going to do it for our panel here today. Give it up for Avery Jones and Slappy.
Thank you so much.
I've got more from the panel that you will see in other videos coming soon, so subscribe for more on that, and more of Little Slappy coming very soon as well. Toward the end of the day, Stine had one more autograph session, and I asked Jesus, the organizer, if there was any way I could get an autograph signed. And he was very kind and got me in the priority line, and I was able to get a signature from Mr. Stine, who looked at the photo from the bonus feature and went, "What was this?" And Isaiah captured this photo of the whole moment. So very happy I was able to secure my prize for the day. And that was pretty much the end of day 1 for me. The plan was for everybody to go out to dinner at the end of the day, but my social battery was just absolutely drained. So Audrey and I went to In-N-Out before we crashed for the night.
We got In-N-Out burger. I've never been in there before. That was wild.
I've been to Los Angeles. I hope you can still hear the birds. I don't know what kind of birds these are.
They just keep going.
Are we in danger?
Day 2 started with a puppetry panel about all things performance in television and film puppetry. We had a lot of fun.
Are we confused already on our framing? Right and left and up and down and all of those things? And now I'll show you guys how to walk out. We're gonna kind of have this swagger as we walk out. And we're gonna exit frame that way. Pretend that we're putting pressure on one foot, then the other foot, and we're gonna walk. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna be cool guys. Here we go. Look out, ladies.
Jack Linz and his wife were kind enough to attend this panel, were very complimentary, asked a lot of very kind questions, were very, very good to me, and I just spent the rest of the day running around, filming videos, meeting the people I hadn't been able to talk to on Saturday, and just having an all-around good time, man.
Greetings, Goosebumps fans. This is Isaiah, host of the Goosebumps Crew podcast here at Curse City Con in San Antonio, Texas. My co-host here, Bjorn, Goosebumps Aussie fan. And what is your name again?
Oh, I am Bumpy the Goose, the #1 Goosebumps fan in all the world.
Well, let's see if we can put that to the test. I got 5 trivia questions here. First one is, finish this phrase. Viewer beware, you're in for a...
Oh. Viewer beware, you're in for a swift kick in the pants.
It's scale.
That is scare. 2.
Viewer beware, you're in for a scare.
Yes.
That is the correct answer, I'm afraid.
Anyone who's a Goosebumps fan knows that.
That doesn't make any sense.
What does the RL in author R.L. Stine's name stand for?
Rico's Linguini.
I'm afraid that is incorrect.
Robert Lawrence Stine.
That sounds fake, but okay.
Oh, whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
This guy knows nothing.
Our third question is, what character has appeared in the most Goosebumps books?
Oh, easy. My favorite character, Slumpy the puppet.
Slappy. Stupid.
You're
Guys,
stupid.
all right.
You're
calm
stupid.
down. Okay, question 4. How many books are there in the original Goosebumps series?
Ha! Easy.
What do you got?
Easy. More than 5.
I mean, he's not wrong. But can you be a little more specific?
Yeah.
Yes. 6.
It's 62. Just be a Goosebumps fan.
Okay, let's get on to our final question. Ooh, this is a tough one. What are the 2 lost Goosebumps books titled?
The Haunted Mask Lives in Happy Holidays from Dead House, part of the unreleased Goosebumps Gold series from 2001.
Okay.
Wow. I mean he's right. He's correct. He's got it.
Yes, he is. I guess he is a real Goosebumps fan.
He's a real Goosebumps fan. Yeah, no. He's a
And
real
you
Goosebumps
thought
fan.
I was stupid.
Still want to hate you.
Hold me back! I'll get him!
No. This has
Goose
been
is gonna
the
bump
Goosebumps
you.
Crew with Goosebumps Trivia. We'll see you guys later. No.
We packed up, said our goodbyes, and headed back to bed because the next morning it was time to start the journey back homeward. We did stop for a little sightseeing.
Call me crazy, but I've got this feeling that I'm forgetting something.
Remember the Alamo!
And we also visited this fun place called Louis Tussauds Waxworks. I've got a whole video in the making about that. I've got about 20 videos in the making right now that I really need to sit and edit. So subscribe if you want to see more of that from me, probably. And then we properly began our long drive home with a Slappy sighting along the way.
It's the Scholastic. Oh, Slappy was on there. I got him. I got him. I saw him. He was on there.
And still made it home in time for a rehearsal for the Addams Family. As we wrap up, I just once again want to express my gratitude to Jesus and the whole Curse City group for reaching out in the first place, for having me, for treating us so well, for being so wonderfully communicative, and putting on a heck of a show. I had an absolute blast. Let's do it again. And when we do, we'll talk about it at length here on the Slappy Speaks podcast. I have been Avery Jones this entire time. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.